Hi, my name is Peyton, and I'm here interviewing expiring film editor and actor Gavin Bells. How are you, Gavin?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you today, Peyton?
Wonderful. So, Gavin, I want to ask you a few questions.
Alright, shoot.
So, first off, what and why and how did you get in your profession?
Oh, God. It all starts back when I was younger, around 3 or 4, when I've just started going to school. I used to get bullied a lot, but my dad had a, treasure trove of films on VHS and DVD and stuff, and every day I'd come home after school and I'd always look forward to enveloping myself into these worlds, such as, Ghostbusters, Scott Pilgrim versus the World, just a few notable ones. Like Lilo and Stitch, too, is a good one as well. Just enveloping myself into these worlds and, kind of just escaping reality a little bit. And ever since I started growing up and I started doing this more and more, I realized this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to give people this kind of escape for when, you know, things are down and not looking too bleak. You can have a place to escape to. Film was always that escape for me. I want to be able to give that back.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, did you have any kind of education in your field?
I did. Right now I'm currently attending Full Sail University, online college, of course, but still Full Sail, and I'm doing you know, my media communications bachelor degree. I'm still going to do that right now. Doing that. But I did go to a vocational tech school for 3 years during high school. I would go through half the day at high school and go to this place called Wilkes-Barre Area Career Technical Center, where I would do this course called audiovisual communications, which was essentially the same thing. We'd practice with cameras, practice video editing, practice our acting skills. Not so much the acting skills, but for me, it was a chance to be able to practice them. And, we just learned the essentials of how to work a camera, TriCaster, how to, edit, and how to, with all these different software, all the different software that's on computers nowadays for it. There's so much you got to learn, and this was just a nice head start into it to get ahead of the competition, I'd like to say.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next thing I want to ask you is if you have done anything big in your field.
No, I have not. I'm still working on it. It's not, obviously still a student at the moment, so obviously I'm not going to do anything big. Like I said, in my career technical center, the vocational tech that I did, and in my Full Sail college, the university, I have the little project that I work on there, but nothing mainstream, nothing major that's going to be on TV or in the theaters or anything like that. But obviously, I aspire to get there and try to be able to, show my work to the world. But as of right now, I've only done a few small editing things. I've done a few plays while in high school, which I like to add to my acting resume, if I do say so myself. And just kind of small things. But I'm hoping soon, like I said, I'll be able to get to do something big.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so do you have any inspiration? Did you have any inspirations growing up?
I had a few. Not so much. It's hard to say for inspirations for film because at the time growing up, I didn't really know actors at the time. Growing up, I always used to think that the characters were characters, and it wasn't actors. So I'd always look up to characters. So like one of my favorite movies growing up was Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and I used to absolutely adore that movie, and I used to look up to the main character Scott Pilgrim, which now as to this day I know it's Michael Cera, which he's one of my favorite actors, I'd have to say, but he was definitely an inspiration growing up. Reminded me of myself in a way, uh, the nerdy kid that isn't greatest with girls, but loves the video game stuff and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually had an inspiration. Chester Bennington. He was always a big inspiration to me. I know that's music, but he's always his music always helped me through hard times as well. And it was always about pushing on, and it's just something I could relate to. And it was just so nice to have that I don't want to say a connection, but it was to be able to relate to someone.
Mm.
So that's really all the inspiration I have, honestly.
Do you have any now?
I mean, again, Chester was a huge inspiration due to recent events, though. Obviously, it's a little sad, but uh, honestly, not many actors. I have many actors that I love. Like I love Michael Cera still. So many different actors out there right now that you follow and you see, and it's hard to remember all the names. But honestly, not pretty much the same inspirations. I would say, nothing too special, nothing too major, just kind of actors. Obviously, a lot of people would question probably why I don't like any like film directors, and it just wasn't my forte. I prefer film editing. I like editing, but I also love acting. I think I like acting a little bit more than editing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I have way more inspirations in filming, acting than editing.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any future plans or projects?
Not too many. Honestly, one thing I'd love to do is I'd love to work on a major film. I'd love to either act in it or I'd love to, do the editing for it, be part of that editing team. That would be really cool to be able to put all the skills that I've learned in high school and college and be able to finally put them to the test and be able to show that, I'm meant to be here, instead of, a lot of people come into this industry, try to come into this industry, I should say, and they don't really make it too well. They don't make a big name for themselves, and they don't feel like it's a hardcore industry where you feel like you don't belong if you don't make it. Which I want to prove people wrong. I want to be able to say I made it and not like have to deal with that defeat of, oh well, I didn't make it. I'll better luck next time. I want to be able to prove that I'm good, that I'm meant to be here.
Yeah. So, grow up in Pennsylvania, as you said, with all the newscast channels and movies and TV shows being made. Do you think that influenced you or your film for?
You know what? I wouldn't say it did. More so, I think what had an effect on me was my dad. Like I said, if it wasn't for my father having all the movies that he did, he would always go to the movie store and rent movies at Blockbuster, or he'd buy new movies at Walmart or whatever, movie stores, and he'd always bring them home to have, and we'd always watch movies together. That was something we did as a family. Or when we go to the theaters every Sunday, we'd go to a theater every Sunday to watch one of the new movies. And it was just those moments that I loved film, and I got to envelop myself into it. So I don't know if Pennsylvania really had an effect to it. I mean, a perk of it is being close to New York, and with the New York being right there, a lot of major, not only film companies, but a lot of TV stations, news stations, stuff like that. Being right there, it's easy for me because obviously I don't like leaving home too much. I get homesick pretty easily, so being not too far away is definitely nice.
That's good. So, one last question.
All right.
What's it like growing up in Pennsylvania?
Boring.
Awesome.
Well, yeah, it's a little boring. There's not a lot to do. I mean, it's not as bad as, honestly, I know this is going to sound very opinion, but something like Idaho where there's not too much to do, or Ohio or stuff like that. But it's pretty boring. There's not terribly much to do. I mean, you got a few amusement parks. You got like Knoebels. If you want to take a trip out to New Jersey for like a half hour, 45 minutes, you got Six Flags. You got a few theaters. You got malls. You got the biggest attraction, honestly, is just Center City, Philadelphia. Going Center City and going to historic Philadelphia. Other than that, there's not really that much to do. I grew up in the Pocono area, which is more mountainish, so more country, if you will. So I wasn't around the big city much often. I never grew a big love for the city. But yeah, like I said, it was just very, very boring. So,
well, that's all the questions I had for today. Gavin, thanks for coming in today. It's been a pleasure.
no, it's not a problem.